Right, can we please welcome to the Baobab Bar stage, speaking for the first time at the Tower in Eastbourne, Tony Smith.
Thank you, Tim. It's nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Right, yeah, we're going to be talking about nautical errors, and there's obviously millions of nautical errors over the years, the thousands of years. So we're going to just go through a few of them. And I'm not going to mention the Titanic because you all know about that, but you can ask questions about that afterwards if you want. Thank you. So let's have a look what we've got on there. Yeah, right. The first thing's going to be a little test for your navigation here, because this is one of the rules of the road at sea when you're in a crossing situation. And I'm going to ask you a little exam question after this slide. Those on the right-hand side, those boats there, all have to we say is stand on. They don't have to give way. But the one at the bottom left there is the give-way vessel, and where the dotted lines are, any vessel that comes up on its starboard side, right-hand side, has to give way to them. So my next slide then is going to ask you, which of these vessels is the wrong one? One of them had the other on its starboard side, its right-hand side. Right, hands up those who think it's the one on top. Right up. Two. What about the one on the bottom? Who thinks it's the one on the bottom? Oh, we got more. Well, you're all wrong. It's the one on the top had the right and the other ship on its left. However, having said that, in the rules it does say that even if the vessel is the stand-on vessel, it must also give way at the last minute and the collision cannot be avoided. So they're both really at error, but the one at the top is the naughty one, really. This is a vessel that was found drifting, as you see, 600 miles off Portugal in December 1872, quite a long time ago. Anybody recognise what vessel it is? A clipper? No, it's got an actual name. It is the Mary Celeste. And it's not the Mary Celeste, it's Mary Celeste. And I want you to notice the little dinghy on the boat there. It was found drifting by De Gracia, another Portuguese vessel, with nobody on board, and just sails up and so on. And I have a little theory about why it happened. And I'm a bit of a scientist, so I've seen a test where they had a glass case, and they put a tiny bit of alcohol in the bottom and screwed out some bits of paper and put it in the glass case as well. Now, this ship was carrying a cargo of alcohol, and it's possible that the wood that the barrels were made of was permeable. So some of the vapour might have leaked out into the bilge. And what I think might have happened is that somebody went down in the bilge and lit a cigarette or something, and there was an explosion. With this glass case, we did the same thing. We put a match to the vapour in the glass case, explosion, but the paper did not burn. And I think probably what might have happened is there was an explosion. Everybody said, oh, the ship's sinking, get off quickly, get the navigation things in the boat, all get in the boat, and off they go, and the ship doesn't sink, doesn't catch fire even. So that's my theory. This is the De Gracia, which discovers the Mary Celeste. They were considered to be probably not pirates, but taking the insurance claim of the boat, because they had to take the boat in, obviously. But they were eventually found not guilty, so they got their money, I think. This is, I'm sorry about the actual faded picture there, but this is a vessel called the Minoan, which went along the south coast of England, and it had on board a cargo of cement. Not a very big boat, and it got into rough weather. Waves came over, got the cement all wet, and the ship started to sink. There's 5 people on board, and the two of them and one of the officers said, oh, let's jump over the side and swim. It's only a mile to the shore, we could swim that. They jumped over the side and swam and were drowned. They never seen again. The engineer and the captain said, no, let's climb up the mast and stay as out of the water as long as we can, which they did. And the boat sank onto the mud with the mast sticking out of the water. It didn't completely sink. And next morning, the engineer lost his grip in the night and he drowned. But the captain stayed and he waved to the shore, and next morning they came out and rescued him. And this is the reenactment of him being rescued next morning. This is a boat called Falcon 4, and this chap who owned it said he wanted a crew to go up to Sweden, it was. And he was an engineer, merchant navy engineer. So I said, yeah, okay. I just thought we'd be away for a couple of weeks or so. So we got on the boat and we went out, and something happened. That was in New Haven. I just want to show you something about what happens with a boat when you steer it. On the left-hand side there, we've got the boat in its line. And then somebody says, right, let's go to the left. So we put the rudder over to the left, as you see on the second diagram, and the boat starts to turn. But notice the turn has the back of the boat pushing out to the right. And in the last diagram here, you can see how far the back of the boat goes in order to make a turn to the left. Well, this engineer was on the boat, and I said to him, shall I take the boat out or will you? He said, oh no, I'll take the boat out. Well, there we are at the top diagram there where the quayside is. And you see, because there's a quayside there, the back end of the boat can't push in there in order to turn out. So you do not try and do that. But he did. So trying to push out, it eventually did go out. The stays of the mast caught on the bowsprit of the boat in front there, and the top of the mast broke off of our boat. So not a good thing. So remember, they steer from the back, really. This is a little diagram showing isosceles triangles. We're going back to school now. Isosceles triangles, you all remember that, don't you? Well, they've all got 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles. And this is used in navigation. And I want you to imagine a boat coming across the Atlantic Ocean, and it's got mist on the horizon. And even if you've got a sextant, you can't find your position at sea with a sextant if you can't see the horizon, because you've got to bring the sun down onto the horizon. So you can't get your position. So this ship coming across the sea across the ocean was the Lusitania in 1915. And as soon as it sees a bit of land in Ireland, it says, right, let's take a bearing of the land there, and we'll do an isosceles triangle, what's called a 4-point bearing. A point at sea is 11¼ degrees. 11¼ degrees is 45 degrees. So they take a 45-degree angle on the right-hand side there when they see the lighthouse. They then sail along, and making note that what the log is, what the mileage is on the log, which they know, and they've got to steer a very straight course and the same speed all the time up until the angle where it's at right angles. That's what's called doubling the angle on the bow. And then they take a bearing again and take the log reading. And the difference between the 2 log readings is the distance is travelled along there, which is the exact distance from the lighthouse to where the ship is. So that's a way of finding a position. The only problem is that you've got to steer a straight and steady course, and that's ideal for a U-boat. No zigzagging, straight and steady. So what happened was the Lusitania sailed from New York, and even with a warning, 1 month before she sailed, that's the warning that was in the paper, the Lusitania did this 4-point bearing to get her position, and she got torpedoed by a German U-boat, U-20, I think it was. This was a situation where I had in Copenhagen harbour, coming out of Copenhagen. On the left-hand side, we had a pilot aboard, and the pilot boat was coming along to take the pilot off. So we're slowing right down dead slow. There's four people on the bridge. We've got the captain, the pilot, the third officer, and the man on the wheel, the helmsman. Now, because it's going slow, the helmsman has to concentrate on the compass to make sure he's keeping on the compass. So he's concentrating very heavily on this compass course. The captain says to the second officer, the third officer, take the pilot down to the pilot ladder. So he goes down through the accommodation, down to the pilot ladder with the pilot. So we've got the captain now and the helmsman. The captain goes to the side of the bridge to make sure the pilot is getting off the ladder, rope ladder it is, very carefully and with no injuries. And of course, who's looking where the boat's going? Nobody's looking where the boat's going. And the boat ran over the anchor chain of another boat, which rammed into the side of our boat, splitting all the side of the boat, all quarter-inch seal, all down the left-hand side. This was a submarine, a mine-laying submarine, a German one, washed up on Hastings Beach. The tow rope broke, as they often do, and the boat was then opened to the public. There it is on the beach, Hastings Beach. And it was open to the public. Health and safety. You've even got a policeman at the top helping them up. Right, so they had to pay sixpence, and the funds go towards the homecoming troops. 1919 this is. Loads of people on board there on this submarine. I believe the first two who went on were counsellors for the thing, and I think they got injured by the battery acid vapour. And there's the... everybody wore hats in those days. And look here, hardly anybody's got a hat on. Who said I? Oh, well done. It's my daughter. Right, yes, that's a lovely picture of the submarine there. Now, this is another rule where if two vessels are not in the collision course, meeting end on, each keeps its course and speed. There's no risk of collision, so just carry on where you are. And it doesn't matter whether you're right or left, you just keep going. However, the Stockholm and the Andrea Doria, who remembers the Andrea Doria? Hands up. Well, it sank anyway, because they were meeting end on, head on like that, and they should have both turned to the right, as you see, but the Andrea Doria didn't. And the Stockholm ran into her and almost cut her in half, and there's a loss of life as well. That's the last dregs of the Andrea Doria there. See how we are for time. I think we're just about right. That's good. This is when I was up in Canada, going up the St. Lawrence River. We had a terrible storm crossing the Atlantic. Really so bad, we had to have a sandbag running from the galley up to the bridge just to hold on the window so we could see a little patch through the window where we were. Anyway, the stays, a stay would be about as thick as that, holding the mast. When I came out in the morning, I couldn't get my arms around the stay because of the ice. So anyway, we go up the St. Lawrence River, and on the way to Montreal, the first ship gets up there, gets a silver walking stick for the captain. Anyway, we were halfway up in Quebec, and the pilot says, too much ice, we'll have to anchor. So he said, drop the anchor. So we dropped the anchor through the ice, and we stayed in Quebec probably for 2-3 days. And then he says, right, sir, the ice is thinning a bit, not so much now. Let's get the anchor up, and off we go. So the boatswain goes up on the foredeck and starts to bring in the anchor, and then he shouts up, the anchor's not coming up. The captain says, yeah, get you more steam on. It's a steamship. Get more steam on. Give a really good hard pull. So the boatswain gives this really hard pull. Up it comes, and it's got a cable across it. An electric cable, and all the lights on one side of Quebec go out. Now, this is a yacht called XI Challenger. Who knows anything about XI Challenger? Hands up. No, right. It is, as you see, it's lost its keel, and it's upside down in the South Atlantic Ocean. It's in the Vendée Globe solo race around the world, and inside that is a gentleman called Tony Bullimore. Remember? Yeah, you do. He, very strong gales. I mean, there were other ships that had problems as well, and his keel broke off. I must say, he got the the engineers to put another lump on the keel to keep it upright, but the lump was obviously too big. But the designer said, no, don't do that. But he did. Anyway, the keel broke off. Boat turns upside down immediately, and he's in this pocket of air inside. The hatch shuts, and he breaks a finger or uses a finger as it hatches shut. And then he's rolling around. He's got his... he lets out through the one of the windows, what do you call it, a location beacon, so that's a good thing. And then he's in there with his suit on against the cold. It's cold water. And one of the windows breaks because the boom hits it, and the water starts rushing in. So he's coming up like this, and he's in this cabin, just a little bit of air inside. He was there for 4 days in this upturned boat, 4 days, until an Australian frigate came along, and they sent out a little rib and rescued him. I think we've got a picture of the rescue. Yeah, there he is. There's Tony Bullimore in his wetsuit, in his survival suit at the time of the rescue. Right, that's I think enough. We can have some questions now. Yes.
Tony Smith.